Okay, we're good.
Okay, thank you. All right, we are here for our November meeting, and I will call the meeting to order. And I'll take a quick roll, real quickly. Bob Scottum.
Here.
Hi, Bob.
Hi.
Teresa.
Here.
Hi, Teresa.
Hi.
Kim. Here. Shauna. Here. And I'm here. All right. So the next thing I'll ask, if everyone has had a chance to review the agenda, and if they have any additions or deletions that they would like, or corrections to the agenda that they would like to discuss at this point.
Nope.
Bob?
No, he says he's me.
Okay, good. Okay, could I have a motion to approve the agenda? Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Teresa?
Sorry, I raised my hand. Yes, I.
Gotcha. All right, so we have an agenda. All right, next question for everyone is the minutes. Did everyone have a chance or an opportunity to review the minutes? And if we did, I'll take a motion to approve the agenda or amend the not the agenda, but the minutes, or amend the minutes.
Make a motion to amend the minutes.
Okay. Second.
Second.
Okay. Amend them or approve them?
Amend.
Amend. Okay. So.
Or no, approve, sorry.
Okay. Okay. Well. Yeah. Okay. So we'll say I'll restate that this is the corrected motion to approve the minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I second that motion.
Thank you, Bob. All right. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Okay, we are good to go. All right, except Bob, I gotta ask you about your windows.
They're finishing up, actually. I've written the check, but they're not completely finished. They're working on the man door on the garage.
Wow, they're moving pretty quickly. I had 3 windows, it took them all day.
Yeah, and I had 2 windows. One was a little one was a slider, you know, a 30 by 36 slider, and then a man door. And they're getting there. They were here though at like 8 o'clock. So
Oh, okay, well, that's a little bit early, but online.
What-
All right,
What's a man door?
it's a side door on a garage,
I go on.
Oh, got it.
as opposed to the garage door.
Clarification, Bob.
We just call that the door.
Listen,
I didn't know what kind of different.
It's actually, I apologize. It should be a person door.
There you go, I was gonna say. Although-
French doors.
But I wasn't gonna show that. All right, now it's time for our citizen comments. Do we have anybody online, Jandy, that would like to comment today?
If you would like to make a comment, please send me a message in the chat and I will get you on.
I don't see that we have any.
But I
Do you have
don't see,
anybody on at all?
I don't have anyone on Zoom.
No one doing today?
No,
Okay.
not so far at least.
At least, they haven't zoomed in yet. All right. Okay, good. Well, then we're good to move on, and we'll bypass the first one because our city administrator is not here. And Bob, could you give us an update on the Friends of the Library?
Absolutely. Thank you. Hi, everyone. The last library, Friends of the Liberty Lake Library meeting was on October 26th. Basically, that was a busy day at the library because not only was it the Friends meeting, it was also the Halloween party, the Minion party. And so mainly what we did at the Friends meeting was, go through our usual reports about, the budget, treasurer's report. I gave a trustee report. And, we talked about Jandy Jandy made the library report, and we really talked about primarily getting it up, making sure we have the volunteers there for the Halloween party with the Minions. And talked about Jandy talked about some changes in the table set up there so that they have a collaboration table and study groups, which worked out really nicely too that night for the party. Talked about a budget that had been presented to the Friends, for the funding that the Friends provide for programs for next year. There was a discussion about purchasing, because we hadn't totally allocated the amount of money, the $7,500 that the Friends was going to use for the library to purchase a subscription to something called a book page. That really is like magazine. It's like a tabloid kind of magazine that talks about all the new books and different books to read. And we were going to test that out. We get 2 months free. So we were going to add that to the budget and test that out. We also talked about the upcoming book sale, which is a week from Friday and Saturday. Be Friday from 12 to 6 and 9 to 3 on Saturday. We still need books, Kim.
They are children's books, they are in my car, I went and took labels off and covered the labels that I couldn't get off, and they are good to go.
All right.
Good. Thank you very much for your donation. We still need books, and the children's books especially are always popular. We also talked about, we had cards printed up. One of the members of Friends had his office print up cards that members can use to hand out to solicit book donations when they're at garage sales, or if they're talking to people. And sometimes you're talking to people and they say, "Oh, I got a lot of books, I don't know what to do with them." So those cards have been printed. We also talked about, Jandy also talked about and show, the fact that we're getting ready to draft an RFP for next year for an architect / consultant to look into the planning for the new building. The nominating committee presented a slate of officers that will be voted on at the November annual meeting for Friends. There will be opportunity for people to submit additional officers or nominees if they want to at that meeting. And we talked about we donated some puzzles that the library, and not the library, but the Friends had come across some puzzles to Ridgeline High School. And that was really it. Any
Thank you,
questions?
Bob. Anybody have any questions for Bob? We have gotten a few extra children's books, so I'm glad you're doing some more. That's
Every
good.
book sale, the further I get away from teaching, the more I find some more books I can part with. Once at home, I'm not quite ready to part with yet, so book sale, there's a few more.
I do. I still have my marine biology stuff downstairs in my basement, all of it, my curriculum, everything I thought.
It's out of date by now.
Huh?
It's out of date by now.
Oh, no, marine biology is never out of date.
When I moved from Alaska, I mailed 50 boxes of children's books that I couldn't live without.
Wow.
So.
Holy cow. That's
Most
fantastic.
libraries don't have as good books as I have.
Man, let me tell you, some of the cool books that our community donates, so, I mean, it's really pretty cool. There's some, yes, and my wife has gone through a lot of the children's books, and they're just really cool. I'm going, wow. I mean, they donated that one, that's really cool. Someone's gonna get a great deal. So it's pretty cool to see those books come in.
They are a great deal.
It's one of my highlights of the day is when people bring donations, they have me go through all the kids' books. Oh, I love seeing all the stuff that people bring in.
Yeah, it is fantastic. All right, so now we're up to city council, Shauna.
So there was supposed to be a city council meeting last night. It was postponed to tonight due to the election. But the meeting before that, there wasn't a lot that dealt with the library, except for the one issue of, member Salisbury, filing an ethics complaint against Councilmember Cargill regarding his, treatment of his position since the library, ordinance was overturned by the mayor. And that's been in the local paper also.
Any questions for Shauna?
Nope.
Your every library?
Yes.
You wanna do that now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, yeah, that meeting would be cool to hear about.
Yeah, so the, John Traska of, Every Library, he was the one who did the training that you went to. And it's the Washington State Library Association, Washington State Library put on the training. And I've talked to John before, one-on-one, just about what's going on here in the community with our library. And a lot of what it was less a presentation and more of a conversation of what are people seeing in their libraries. This is kind of the state of libraries around. There's more and more book bans, as we're all aware. There's and communities or councils trying to take over the libraries or shut them down. They spend a lot of time talking about the Dayton Library in Columbia County and how that was on, a petition was created to put it on the ballot to disband the library district. But looking further into it, a judge found that signatures were fraudulently obtained, and he didn't allow it to go forward on the ballot. I don't know what that means as far as are they going to try it again or not. There were some issues around that were interesting, and it's something that I know there's been calls for, people have said, well, we should be a library district and not a city library. But a library district is for unincorporated areas. And one of the issues that came up with the Dayton when they annexed into the library district is the citizens in the city did not have a vote on whether that library district could be disbanded or not, even though they were part of the library, because the only people that vote on library district issues are the unincorporated, the county. Even though their property, their building was given to the library district for use for the library, and it brought up other issues too, in that the city no longer had that building, and if the library district was disbanded, it would go to the state library, not the city. So it's,
Yeah,
was-
that was one of the things they were talking about was, they thought that if they disbanded the library, they could reopen it kind of like as their own city library and make it what they wanted. But because it was a district, all of the books would actually go to the state library, and they would have a building but no books.
So when people say they want Liberty Lake to become its own library district,
that you can't, as a city, make it into a library district. It has to be an unincorporated, and we would most likely have to become part of Spokane Library District because we're in the Spokane County.
And they would wanna take
They've
it.
already said they don't want us.
They would have to accept us into their district,
Yeah,
and they've already made a statement about that.
yeah. It's my understanding we can't create as a city a library district.
Yes, and I know that it was brought up again,
Yeah,
right?
throughout this whole process, it was brought up again, and, I'm not sure.
So it's not even a possibility.
But it's not a
People keep
possibility.
saying
Right,
that.
We should form our own district. We can't form our own district. We're a city. We would have to join another unincorporated areas library district, because we are an unincorporated area. So we would have to be annexed into probably Spokane County's library district, but when that was brought up years ago, it was, well, we don't have enough patrons in Liberty Lake, so we would either shut that or only have it open a couple days. And your main library would be the Otis Orchard, because we have a library there already. And I don't think the city would be, I don't know what the city would do with the property or the books, or like, it doesn't, just looking at what has happened to Dayton, it doesn't look like a viable solution. It's not, doesn't look like something that a city would want to do, and that's the only way to do it, as far as I can tell, is to annex into another library district. You can't form a library district within a city.
Right.
When I first moved here in 2019, and as I met people, it became clear pretty early to me that the library is an important cultural part of our community.
Our
And that's,
community has a lot of pride in their library.
it's one of the reasons that I love living here, so it's just baffling to me how people would want to damage that.
So, and then, and I had raised a question about, because a lot of what the talk was too, is how do you, if you've got people in the community, like in the Dayton area, that were sort of wanting, being confrontational in the grocery store, or being confrontational in the pickup line with school, to some of the library, either employees or board of trustees. How do you react to that? How do you handle that? So they kind of discussed, stay calm, and, just to bring up, it's a First Amendment issue. It's a constitutional issue. And I asked John, how do you handle that when it's not necessarily just in kind of random in the public, but when it's also within the city council or in a public, formal setting like that. And so he suggested we talk separately, and he said he'd be happy to talk to our board of trustees.
He told me the same thing. Did you get his card?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. So that might be something we would maybe consider down the line.
Yeah, so he is available to, it would probably be remote, he's on the East Coast, but he's available to come to a meeting or.
And Jenny, does the staff receive training on how to handle that?
Yeah, we've had training sessions on handling difficult customers or that sort of thing. We also did a training earlier this year on book challenges and that
Right,
sort
I
of
know in
thing.
other city libraries, there's all kinds of difficult
Yeah.
customer patrons that come in, that staff is.
Yeah, it's a less occurrence in Liberty Lake
Right.
than it is other places,
Right.
but we try to do a yearly training on it each year
If
to
you
make
haven't
sure
had
people are
it, it
comfortable.
catches you off guard, and it's one of those, oh, I should have said, you go back and think, oh, I should have said this, or I should have said that.
Yeah. So Bob, questions, or Teresa, questions for Shauna?
No, I don't have anything.
No? Okay, Bob, no?
Nope.
Okay, got it. All right, so now we're on to, thank you, Shauna. We are on to the library director, Jandy Humble.
So I have written down some updates for you guys for October, and the happenings at the library. As Bob was saying, we had our library Halloween party on the 26th. We had over 360 people attend. It's one of our biggest events of the year. It's definitely our biggest event inside the library. Our other really big events are like the Magician in the Park, or when we had Eric Herman at Ridgeline High School touch a truck. The Halloween one is one that's consistently really huge at the library, so we were really happy with the attendance. The city has a new IT manager. His name is Michael. They've contracted him from Executech. He's been in the library several times this month. We're having some issues with a few of our computer stations. So he's been working on that. So far, it hasn't disrupted anything we've had enough computers for people that need to use them. But we've had a chronic issue with our speaker system in our meeting room, with our HDMI cord. It wasn't plugging in for sound, and it wasn't working well with presentations. We had to plug directly into the projector up on the ceiling. He finally got it fixed last week. We've been having issues with it since June, and it was one of those things where once they finally figured out what it was such an easy fix.
Oh, no.
So we were like really happy because they thought they were gonna have to like rip into the sheetrock and rewire something.
Oh, I just-
And then once they started, they just kind of took the faceplate off and was looking inside the, outlet, and they were able to just like. instead of a wire. So we're really happy it's fixed. We have obviously Bluetooth speakers that we can use for story time, but they just, for a couple of our songs, they weren't quite loud enough.
Yeah.
So we're really happy, for story time and also for presentations when people come. It's much easier to just plug into the wall than we were having to like climb up on a chair and like plug it into the projector for them. So everything's back to status quo on that. Room reservations are still doing really well. We're having them almost every single day in the study room and also our meeting room with like HOA meetings and that sort of thing. It has been hopping. So that's been doing really well. I have in the budget for next year to purchase a new software for the study room where people can make their own reservation on their own using a software. Right now, they fill out a form and then the form comes to me and Michaela and we kind of manually put it in the system. So for next year, we have like a software that'll be automated that can do it itself. The bummer is I was looking at doing it through Demco. They do all of our class registrations for all of our after-school programs, all of our adult crafts. It's called Sign Up, and we use that to do all of our reservations for that. We've been using it for 5 years. They're discontinuing it. And so I was really excited to buy this new software because they both work together and it'll all still be on one calendar. So I'm thinking for next year, we'll have to find a new software that can do both things still.
And you guys are on Koha?
Yeah, we don't use our reservation software through Koha. It's Demco, which is a library company, so they make a bunch of different softwares. So there are other softwares out there that do that specifically for libraries that will do both things. It's just one of those things where I had like priced it out and picked it out and was so excited to buy it in January. Now it's like, I'm gonna have to find something that does both
Yeah,
things
I
again.
was just wondering
Yeah.
if Koha had that, because I know a lot of ILSs are.
I don't
adding
think
room
Koha has that yet. But there's a couple different companies that I even get emails from that do stuff. So we have the money to buy something new. I'm just gonna have to do some more research and find something that does both those things for us again. As I'm sure you heard, like in the city council meetings, the Parks and Arts Commission had contracted with Inland Chess Academy to bring chess classes to the library. So it is not put on by the library, it's put on by Inland Chess in the city, so it does have a cost for it. But they're doing chess classes at the library for 6 weeks for the fall, and then they'll do some next year. It started yesterday, and they had about 10 to 15 kids that showed up yesterday for it. So we were really happy with that. It's one of those things where when you bring in someone else to do something, you want it to be successful and have, a bunch of kids or adults there and excited to do it. So we're really happy with the turnout so far.
Has the library hosted like a community chess club before?
So we had done, we had Inland Chess come in 2019, and they had contracted to do 2019 and 2020, but COVID, it got shut down. Prior to that, we had done 2 different rounds of like a community chess club at the library, with different staff members at the library. I don't play chess.
I don't play chess either.
And so it's one of those things where like, when I was a children's librarian, I couldn't teach chess classes. I didn't know how to play chess. So Travis, who was our old IT manager, him and Michelle, one of our library techs, had done a community chess club for us during the summer that was really popular.
Cause I know the schools I taught at had chess clubs and they were very popular.
Yes.
Yes,
I'm amazed how young kids can learn to play chess.
yes.
It
We
is
had like a 5-year-old in one of ours that was really did really well with it.
pretty cool. It's a state competition in our state, in the WIAA. Didn't know that. But my son, Michael, had a chess club at his school, and they actually competed last spring.
Oh, that's
So I had no idea that our state actually sponsored a chess competition, which I think is really, really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really cool,
Faithful.
yeah. And, you know, their fee is not cheap, like most activities that are sponsored by our library. So, I mean, that's pretty cool that there's 10 or 15 kids.
Yes, so, and I didn't feel like they got, it was kind of down to the wire on getting it approved by city council and then getting it on the calendars and stuff. So I didn't feel like they had a lot of time to promote it, so I was also really pleased with the attendance. So I'm wondering if, because I think they're gonna come back in January, if we'll have even more kids
Well,
turn
I'm
out
just
for it.
wondering if a community chess club could grow out of that, and maybe a parent could.
Yeah.
Do that, or, you know, just. Like
Yeah.
community volunteer or to organize that at the library.
Yeah.
So will you have enough room if there's more kids that show up?
I can't speak for how many like chess sets they have or that sort of thing.
But I mean.
I'm
you
sure there is
have
some
space-
kind of limit.
Table space, I was thinking how, you know, for kids to sit across from each other.
I know they do 2 boards on each table and the kids sit across from each other.
Okay.
So they have the
Interesting.
big green mats and then the really big lawn pieces. So
Do you have an idea of the age range that was there yesterday?
I don't know who was there yesterday. I'll have to ask,
Just curious.
the instructor when he comes next week.
Cool.
But it said for like 2nd grade to 12th grade was the range. So it'd be interesting to see what the average age was.
Right.
New chess class for geezers.
Yeah,
But
I would be in that
I
one.
was hoping there might be an adult
I
section.
think, like, I mean, even before my kids, when they were in elementary school, my son had gone to a chess club at the elementary school, but then, like, Queen's Gambit came out.
Mhm.
Chess is cool. All the smart kids know chess. Some of them. It's pretty,
It is associated with.
and kids who you wouldn't think would love chess ended up loving it,
Yeah.
and it helped them in other areas once they found a place they belonged.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, because I think chess is one of those very, very wonderful games to play.
Bob, did you have a comment?
No,
Okay, I thought you were trying to buzz in.
no, I coughed, sorry.
Has the library ever put on like a family game night?
We have attempted family game night numerous times
Got it.
with no success. It's one of those things where we try it every couple years, and we're like, this time it's gonna work, and it has not, unfortunately.
Right, it's like a Doldrums of Winter event. No.
But even then, yeah.
The one thing that we are starting now is, Michaela has started, purchasing games and puzzles, for patrons to check out. So we're gonna have it set up where our community table is, there's a big bookshelf behind it. So we're gonna have them set on the bookshelf there, if people can check it out and take it home with them. So it's kind of a soft opening where we just barely put them out this last week. And then obviously we'll build on it.
Yes.
We're hoping to do some like Lego sets and then, some kind of like, I don't know if literacy is the right word, but we've had parents ask for these cards where it helps kids learn to like tie their shoes and buckle and button and that sort of thing. So some of those like early learning
Yeah.
skills.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that we want to purchase for next year. And then obviously, as we get to the new building, we'll be able to purchase like film equipment and all that kind of stuff that Library of Things is now. So,
Very exciting.
Yeah.
So that was a little side discussion from the chess club. What else is on your?
the last thing I have, is half of an update. The windows are gonna be replaced at the library and the police station. We don't have the exact dates yet. They have ordered the glass and they have ordered the frames, from Seattle. Part of it's supposed to arrive in November, part of it's supposed to arrive in December, then they'll put it together, obviously. And then they'll bring it to the library and the police station to install. So we'll get like a week heads up that they're coming. So they're thinking it'll be January. That doesn't sound like a fun time for the workers to install windows.
No.
But it's gonna be a little bit of work for the library and for the maintenance staff, because around the windows, obviously, we're gonna have to move the bookcases, and the books are heavy, so I'm assuming we'll have to put the books into boxes and then have them move them away from the windows. So they said they think it's probably gonna take, they're giving themselves 2 weeks. I'm hoping that's a little bit of a generous amount of time, but I mean, I don't know how long it takes to install windows. But well, our plan is to let the public know as soon as we know, kind of pardon our dust. They're obviously gonna be putting up screens and that sort of thing to cordon off that area of the library when they're working on it. And then obviously when they do the children's room and the meeting room, it'll be easy because we can just lock our glass doors and then no one will be allowed back there. But there is gonna be a couple weeks where I think patrons aren't gonna be able to get every book that they want. And if they're in the library, it might be a little chilly. But their plan is to, like, you know, take out a window, put a new window in. But obviously we have a lot of windows, so it's gonna take a while for them to do that.
Could you put a little advance notice in the like December newsletter?
Yes, our plan is to be like, sometime in January, our windows are getting replaced.
Goodness.
So, yeah.
I lived in Fairbanks in high school on the Army base, and they replaced windows in January in Fairbanks, Alaska. That's when the windows are there.
That is too funny.
You just go, gotta get your work done, doesn't matter how cold it is.
Okay, Jandy, is that it?
The last thing that I had is, the city is having their, Christmas party for staff on December 14th. It's a Thursday. Normally what we do is we close the library for a few hours, so staff can attend the party. And so I was giving you guys a heads up to let you know that December 14th, we will be closing the library for a few hours. And we're planning to publish that in our December newsletter and on our website and all over the doors so people know. Yeah,
And when is our next quarterly report due?
December.
in December. So we'll be talking about that in our business today.
That's up on our business, agenda. All right, so thank you, Jandy. That's great. So now we're on to our business, and our first item up. Sorry, Bob, and Teresa, did you have any comments or questions for Jandy?
No, I don't.
Okay. Bob,
Nope.
we're good? Okay. All right, so now we're on to interlibrary loans, and I'm gonna let Jandy talk about that, but it's not gonna happen, so anyway.
Yes, I spoke with Patrick, who's the director of the Spokane County Library District. We had talked about changing our agreement with them so that we could put in interlibrary loan requests for some of their patrons who use our library. They felt that if we were gonna change the agreement, we needed to change it on both sides. And they don't have the capacity to do that on their end. So they were not interested in changing or updating the agreement. So things will continue as they were.
Okay.
So, short update.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're on to the library building project, and Jandy has an update on that as well, as far as moving forward with the, what's it called, RFP? Yeah,
Yes.
so go ahead.
So I met with Mark and Lisa about starting the library building project. It's a go. And so, our step one is to work on drafting an RFP. So I'm gonna be working on that. Lisa's gonna give me some input with it, but our plan is to release that RFP to the community in January. So we thought that'd be the best time after the holidays when companies are now looking for new projects for 2024. The thing that I need from the board first is that, part of that RFP is I will be letting them know what our steering committee is. Who will be doing the selection process for the RFP. So it's going to be obviously myself and Michaela from the library, Mark and Lisa from the city. And then I need 2 board members to be on the steering committee, and then 1 friend and 1 community member. So we need to decide when, now if we can, who our 2 board members who will be on the steering committee will be.
I'd like to do that. And this is an RFP for the architect.
The architect or the,
Isn't it for
sorry, I can't think of the word.
the design process for
Yes,
the design build process?
Like a
Yes.
project manager.
project
yes, thank
manager.
you. It's
Thank
like a
you, Bob.
project manager.
Right,
Yes,
right.
so,
So I knew that would be a good, did you want us, did you say you wanted to do that?
I don't need to. I'm happy if somebody else really wants to. But it sounds like Kim is
I'd love
definitely
to,
in.
yeah.
Well, Bob or Teresa, did you want to be involved in that?
I don't mind.
I'm willing to as well, it's like Shauna, but I'll step aside for someone that would like to, that really feels strongly about being on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be remote for the first 3 months of the year.
Got it.
So,
I'm okay. I can join with Kim.
Pardon?
Teresa says she'd like to join with Kim.
Okay, all right, so you got 2
Perfect.
right there, that's great.
So with the steering committee, obviously they'll select who's gonna be our project manager for the project. And they will obviously be coming back to the board and giving the board updates as the process goes along. And that sort of thing.
Do you need Bob to ask the friends for
Yeah,
a volunteer? Since he's already.
we'll ask them at the meeting in November.
Okay, perfect.
Okay,
yeah,
perfect.
And did you say 1 community member as well?
Yes,
And how will that person be chosen?
I'm gonna be working with, Lisa to see if there's any requirements. But that's something me and Michaela will be deciding. If you guys have ideas of people, I would love to hear them. Maybe send those to me in an email if you have ideas. Obviously I want someone who's an avid user of the library.
Yeah.
So,
that's
Yes.
great. Good
Would,
that we're moving forward with that.
would any of our volunteers of the library be the community member?
I think that would work. It just, they want someone who's a community member.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just something to consider,
Yeah.
that they would know both ends, using the library and working behind the scenes.
And what about including one of the teams from our teen advisory group? And
This is, well, this isn't for the library itself, it's
No.
to choose the RFP winner.
No, I know, but I just think including young adults and maybe that's more appropriate at a later time.
Yes, so I'm thinking that will be a portion of it when we come to the design of the teen area of the library.
Okay.
So we're gonna have
Gotta
kind
step
of
away, guys.
revolving door members. So like, obviously, when we're working on the children's room, I'll want to bring in Erin, who does our children's. When we're doing circulation, I'll want to bring in Georgette, who does circulation. And then when we're doing community input, we'll get, teen input, family input,
I just,
elderly input.
you know how they have like a student advisory person that sits on school board sometimes? I just feel like these young people are invested in our library. And I think seeing a big project like that through would give them incredible experience. So I don't know, you just wanna pull them in as appropriate, I guess.
Yeah, I think we should definitely have teams involved in the planning of the library, but as far as the RFP, who
Right,
choose to
right.
do the planning, I don't think that's,
Yeah,
it's
this
not
is,
even a lot of library.
Right.
yeah, this is choosing the project manager for the design process. For
But I definitely
overseeing,
think we should have lots of,
but they should be involved in actually designing certain aspects of the library,
For sure.
I think, yeah. So Bob, you have a comment I thought I heard you.
Oh, he stepped away.
Oh, I had to step away, got it.
Yes.
I didn't hear that part, I just heard him try to buzz in again. Okay, so we got the library project done, and now we're on to the December quarterly report. So, Jandy,
So we have to do our last quarterly report for December. I wanted to get you guys input on if there's anything specific you envisioned us including on that. And then also who would like to partner with me on the presentation.
So is this just like for the last quarter, or is it a summary of the whole year?
So this is just the last quarter. We'll do the annual report in June-ish when I get the big annual report from the state. So this is just October, November, December, what's happening on the board and what's happening in the library for council.
The only thing I can think of is, the policies that we've updated, make sure
Yes.
we're mentioning.
yeah, those have to be included.
The rest of it is kind of stuff we always update.
Right,
The quarter.
usage and
Highlights of.
the highlight activities. I'd be happy to stand up with you to give that.
Okay.
And what date are you doing that?
I was thinking let's see, is it the 5th and the 19th this month? I was hoping for the 5th, but I have to double check with Kelsey.
Oh, wait a minute.
What is your availability?
Yeah, sorry, Danny, I'm gonna have to, I just thought about something, I have some other things that might come up on the other side of the mountain, so I'm gonna have to default to someone else to stand with you.
I'm happy with
Okay.
it. So it'll either be December 5th or 19th.
Yes,
Okay.
so I can go talk with Kelsey after this and see what it looks
Just
like
let us
and let you
so
know.
We can be there.
Yes. So I will,
We can coordinate on it.
Okay, so we have that squared away, which is a good thing. And now we're on to action items. And the first one is again, Jandy will give us this is an interesting one, but waiving the 2 accounts that are past the statute of limitations.
so it's part of the library's policy that if we have fines that need to be waived that are over $100, they come to the library board. I have a little report from our circulation manager that I'm gonna read for you guys as an update, and then we'll go to the action item. So, as per the policy of the board, the library sends patrons to collections when the items they have checked out are not returned in a timely manner, and after they have been notified by letter and invoice, and the amount totaled on their account is no less than $50. The library has been sending patrons to collections since 2009. Currently, we have 47 active accounts with a balance of $4,177 outstanding. So these are for either fines or lost books. It includes fines since, let's see, it includes fines if it's someone that's older than 6 years, since the library no longer does fines, but they had, 6 years ago in the past. So far, we've received $7,815 in payments since 2009. This year, we received payments for 1 collections account in February of 2023, and it was $102 in payment. Today, I have 2 patrons who have been sent to collections and have reached their statute of limitations. So account can be at collections for 6 years. Once it reaches 6 years, you can't go after them anymore. So I have an account for $101.60, and then I have an account for $108.50. So can I have a
So we
motion?
need to have a motion on the floor. I think we probably should have an emotion for each account. Or do we need to have one for each account?
Yeah.
We just have a motion for both?
Yeah.
Okay, so can I have a motion to waive?
I so move to waive the, two accounts that have reached the statute of limitations on their funds.
I second.
Second, okay. All those in favor of the motion?
I,
Aye.
Aye. Jim?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, motion passed, they are waived.
How much, do we know how much we have to pay the collection agencies to process those?
So it's part of their fee, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So this is how much they owe us, so the collection agency sends us that much, but they might have a little bit more that is for the
Right,
fee
okay.
for it to go to collections. So this is just the way that the city does it, so this is the way that we follow it per the state guidelines.
Okay.
I'm back.
All right, gotcha.
perfect timing. We're just
Yeah.
about to approve the customer service policy.
Yeah. All right, so now we're on to the last action item, which is approval of the customer service policy. Everyone have a chance to review that? And if everyone is okay with it, I'll take a motion on the floor to approve the updated policy.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All right, all those in favor of approving the updated customer service policy? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Policy has been approved, and we have an updated customer service policy.
So I will have that updated on the, website, tomorrow morning.
Okay, I do think we need to actually, update the approved November 2023. This just says October right now.
Say that
Okay.
again. Sean, I didn't catch
In the document itself, the draft, it says approved October 2023.
I thought I changed it somewhere, so I don't know if I sent it to you guys and then I changed it to November. Because I had that thought when I was working on it, that it needed to
Oh,
be.
you know what? Never mind.
The one I have says
No,
November.
no, I'm looking at it.
So I think we're good.
Older version. We're good.
Yeah, I think we're good.
I was looking at the file
Yeah.
that was in my
We're good.
document.
Yeah, the only thing I noticed on it, Jandy, was because we changed it because the other policy was so big.
Yes,
I think that's why you put originally approved by the Board of Trustees, November 2023 at the top and the bottom.
yes. So I think I put it as November 2023 on the top and the bottom because it was so extensively reviewed this time. But I believe on the bottom header, it has the 2006, 2010, 2018, and then 2023.
Correct.
Yes,
On the
it
bottom.
does. Yes,
Okay.
it does.
Yes,
That is-
yes.
And what are next policy we need to look at?
Can I insert something quickly?
Sure, yeah, you're on, Bob.
Sorry. Jandy, when I was going through the policies, I noticed, and you said you were gonna post it, which is fine. But there's a separate spot where you have the computer policy on the city website. You have it listed, our new one is the computer, internet and Wi-Fi, and that's listed under the policies. But there's another page under the library subpart of the city that talks about computer and internet policy, and it looks like it's the old one.
Okay, so it's somewhere else on the city's page, not on the library page.
It's on the library page, it's not just in the policies. I'll send you the link.
Okay, yes, that would be perfect.
As it says approved, it has the old date on it and it doesn't say Wi-Fi. So I'll send you the link.
Okay, perfect. Cause yeah, I can update that one and this one both at the same time, so that'd be great.
Sure, thanks, Bob.
And guys, I have to head out to my next meeting, so I'm gonna go ahead and step out.
Okay. Thank you, Teresa.
Thanks, guys.
Have fun at your next meeting.
If you have any suggestions for other policies, just email.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
All right, so I think what we could do, is your suggestion, that is to review policies and then email them, to Jandy. And then, those up at our next meeting and, kind of decide and outline the ones and how we want to go about it for the upcoming year. Is everybody okay with that?
Yes,
We have the
Okay.
summary of the ones we've already done.
And-
I know we did the meeting reviews, that we did the computer and internet and the collection development policy, and we just did the customer support.
I think you,
Is that all? Okay.
I think you just said them all.
Yeah, we did those, and there's still some that were 2019. Like the public comment one. And the suspension of privileges one, those were May of 2019. And then the programs one and the vulnerable person ones were September of 19. And then you had the statistics was August of 2019, and confidentiality of public records was like December. So you've got like 5 or 6 that are coming up on 4 years.
Right, so those are the ones, Bob, can you email those to, or whatever, to Jandy, so she can make a note of those?
Yeah, I'll email them. I wrote them down, but I'll email them.
Okay, great, and if we have any others that we can send to her, but I think we might wanna even think about, having some sort of a revolving type of bringing them up for review, like, for example, how many years should they be in existence before we bring them up for review and talk, that kind of a thing, so that we don't have to pick and choose every year. We know that there are some that are going to be coming up because it's been 4 years or 3 years, whichever ones we think, there's a certain time limit that we need to actually take a real good look at those. And I don't know what that time limit would be, but I think that, it's always a good idea to review those on some sort of a.
Does the American Library Association have a recommendation for how often a policy should be reviewed?
not that I know off the top of my head. I'd have to look and see. I know they have, parameters to help you
Right.
with revising them. I don't know that they have a recommendation of dates.
And of course, if an issue comes up in a community, then do that, but I didn't know if they had a best practices guidance for revising the policy.
I don't know, I read through their stuff, I don't remember reading anything about a specific timeline, but it just seems to me like it's a good idea to have
Yeah, but like, I mean, is
But-
that something we wanna change our bylaws and say we have, I don't really.
I didn't consider that it might have to be in the bylaws, I'm not sure.
No, I mean, I think that informally we can say, hey, it's a great idea to at least every 4 years take a look, especially given that term is 5 years.
Right.
So if you've got staggered terms, then
Yeah.
somebody is always around that has done the process before. So if we say, like, it's a good idea that in general, if we review every 4 years, but I don't think we should put that in bylaws.
Oh, I don't either, no,
Or create a new policy.
right, no, I don't either, I was just saying it's a good idea to have it in
Yes.
our mind.
Yes.
That we have to review policy that are, like, they can't sit for 7 or 8 years and not be looked at.
But we make no changes to them, like public comments in meetings, I doubt we'll make changes to that,
Right.
because that's.
It kind of
generally
is
a
That's pretty much
Yeah,
standard
it's
state.
a review date on there, so
Right.
even if it hasn't been updated, it has
Has
been.
been reviewed, right? All right, so I'll ask, does anybody have anything they want to see on the agenda for next,
List of policies to review.
our list of policies, which we've already, so make sure that that's on there. List of policies, all the reports that we normally have. Jandy, and Kim, you're helping her with the quarterly report again, is that correct? Or who's-
Shauna.
Oh, Shauna, yeah, could you guys make sure we get that out, so we can all take a look at it?
Yes, I'll send it to you guys. Me and Sean will work on it and then we'll send it to you guys for
Thank you,
review.
all right, okay,
Prior to the 5th or the 19th, depending on.
Right.
what meeting.
super, and, anybody have anything else they would like to see on the agenda?
Nothing else?
Okay, well then, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries, the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, guys.